Now in Streamlabs desktop window and live 0 and stream button. You are currently on a button inside of web content.
We're about to do this this second episode for Cornerstone Coins. Let's check out. Oh, it's in my pocket. Let us check out week 2. How well Cornerstone Coins is doing.
Speech on. Seeing AI. Active. All jobs and classes. Chapter 30. All jobs and more menu. Button. App switch. Scene. Message. Cash app. Music. Phone. ONB mobile. Retail. App. ONB mobile. Swipe up with retail. Royal. YouTube. Notes. RoyalRoad. Audible. Reading history. Heading level 4. News thumbnail. Image. Slide. Reading history. Heading level 4. View more. Epistems. Of omens and omnis. Epistems. Across the middle. Volume 1. Epistems. The lineage of Lincoln. Epistems. Cornerstone Coins. Volume 1. Others have also liked a table of rated of plug on a lit portal urban progress plug. Mature prevent is to continue read 100.
Oh.
Total views 25. Average view 0. Followers 0.
Okay.
Back.
Hold on, y'all.
Dynamic
This is
island.
crazy.
News thumbnail. The it is top slide 1 of the reading view. Epistems. Mythical heretic. Epistems. Cornerstone. Epistems. Mythical. Others have also liked. Main overview. Plug on a lit portal urban progress plus. Mature content. Profanity. Have you ever? Well, I have. Continue 101.
Okay. All right.
Speech
So
on.
right now, my most read this week in our month in is Mythical Heretic at 101. But Cornerstone Coins, which we're about to do the second refresher on right now, is now going to be in second place at 100. And we have another in the 90s, and we have another in the 80s, and then we have the last two at, I think, in the 60s or 70s somewhere, and then the last one's either in the 50s or 60s. So I'll talk more about that at the end of the episode. But for now, let's dive back in, guys. Let's dive right back in. Wait a minute. Did we?
Safari. Pages. Finder. 4. Information systems engaged. Pages document.
I think we did.
Actions available. You are currently on a now in 4. So end of text body. What new line? First time in his life that he may actually have a lot to lose. Body. The realization struck him hard and Trent picked up the pace.
Yep.
Close. Body. Page 1 of 3. Edit text. Content selected. Body 5. First of many to come.
Okay.
Speech muted.
Episode 5, guys.
5. First of many to come. They hadn't even been a block away from their destination when a group of boys was seen down the street from them having some sort of massive brawl. Lincoln felt he was watching a 10-on-10 tag team match and easily guided Katrina away before they could be sighted. That doesn't make me excited about the neighborhood. Lincoln furrowed his brow, looking at her oddly. What? I live here. But I don't be outside like that. Work, home, and back again. You know how it is. Not really. I make money during the day. Quiet helps when you need to know when people are coming. I like being a bartender. Makes a lot of money quickly, said Katrina, and Lincoln rolled his eyes. Yeah, underaged bartending. You might make all the money, Trina, but let's be real. You get caught, and I don't care how much money you think you're making, or think that you have. It won't be enough, said Lincoln, attempting to warn her, knowing that his petty thief crimes were less costly to deal with. Yeah. Let's see how shit a boss you are first, and I'll revisit retiring. The pair didn't take long, even walking along the beach for a period of their walk as they closed in on the abandoned gas station. Well, maybe not abandoned, I guess. Well, I guess this is real, said Katrina, climbing in through the window Lincoln left open. Any reason we are climbing through the window when the keys are sitting right here? Lincoln looked over to see a large key ring spinning in the girl's hand, and lied, rather than admit to how amateur missing those keys had been. Using the front door paints a target on my back, Trina, and until we have a guard on the payroll, I don't trust myself, let alone anyone else with this place. I'm still hoping that my class coin will help with the fact that I don't actually own it, and until I do, I don't want anyone's attention brought to it. Mostly honest, thought Lincoln, as Katrina nodded, now wearing a contemplative gaze as she looked around. How many hours you got left until the seedling, or whatever is planted? Let me look, says 28 hours, which is good. Gives us time to explore these menus, said Lincoln, glad that much of the menus he could see were now available to Katrina to peruse, excluding a few tabs and options. I bet I can adjust those in her profile. As they searched through the gas station's interior, Lincoln found the area to adjust Katrina's options, giving his supervisor access to do anything she wanted, excluding changes he'd made, or actions to change his direct profile, as he had just done for her. Thank you, Lincoln smirked, hearing his friend yell from the room over. He'd sat down on the couch and honestly felt sleep beginning to take him until Katrina re-emerged into the room. If you want to sleep here, that's cool. I'll just take the bed as payment for now, said Katrina. Lincoln frowned at her, and he nearly took her up on that offer, until what she'd said truly hit him. What bed? No motherfucking way, said Lincoln, as Katrina guided him down the stairs and into a large basement. No, it wasn't a magical basement headquarters of the gods for secret agents, but it was furnished. 3 small rooms and a large bathroom sat around a cozy living room, and an amazingly large kitchen for the space with bar seating. There's multiple rooms. Why couldn't I just get another room and another bed, said Lincoln with an exasperated expression, hoping that Katrina would be able to tell he didn't care that she'd messed with him. Maybe she was just cool with having a place to stay and felt being paid this way to start was reasonable. Nope. Only one room still has a bed. I'm betting that this was a family gas station. Maybe abandoned once they upgraded and couldn't sell the older one. Took the better of the beds with them when they left. Lincoln shrugged, thinking a moment before he stuck his hand out. He felt he knew what kind of deal he wanted to strike with her, and stated his terms. The bed with the room is yours for as long as you work for me. Or if we somehow make a fortune and have to move, you have a room there instead. You work as an intern until we start to make consistent profit. And if we don't, you can leave at any time. Any more money in your pocket from your job will be based on commissions or contract percentage deals. Those will probably work best for us in the long run. Katrina's brow rose. What? Why do you keep giving me strange looks? You sound like your head has been stuffed full of economic accounting book. Is all that your class coins influence? Probably, said Lincoln, rubbing his temples. Every time I have a mental question, I get a pop-up with information. Sometimes more than one. Sometimes a fuck-ton have to read them, or they don't disappear. Isn't that the effect of a legacy? Class coins with legacies are very rare, and only pop up in bloodlines to suitable candidates. And if anyone finds out you have a unique class, you're dead bub. Still surprised you didn't know that was a thing. I seriously hope you're fucking with me about the unique coin bounty hunters. I got enough to deal with. What the hell is a legacy, and how do you know all this shit, Trina? You don't strike me as a bookworm. That's a long story for another time, Link. For now, you got a deal, said Katrina, taking his hand and shaking it, Lincoln already having forgotten he'd extended it to her. Update? Achievement unlocked? Boss move? Rare. Boss move is given to those who are wise and risky. You hired someone and don't even make money yet. Either you've done this before, or you are truly a fucking idiot. We'll see. Achievement perk. Money made by your employees. Either doubles in credit value or resource quality if obtained through a mutually beneficial contract or transaction.
Oh shit, okay. Boom, we on to the next one, y'all. First achievement unlocked. Gonna have to remember details like this. I think I'm gonna go through when I have a free day and make those sheets that I've been talking about for each series. I think I might have to do it over the weekend, just so that next week, especially if I start to write for like across the middle, I'll be able to just like look over my detail sheet and then just start writing. And then as I create new episodes and things like that, I'll add intimate details, and then each week before each episode I'll be able to go through, look at these intimate details, and then just start writing. Just, always remembering what's going on, where I left off, just keep things more efficient. And that's what I did with, if you guys see the bios on the description on these live streams now, they're proper. It's well put together. A lot of links are there. Our tags are in there. It's just, I like the way that we have it set up now. So
Speech
I'm gonna keep
unmuted.
improving stuff just so I show you guys the difference. Because like if you go and watch the video before yesterday, the like all of the live streams have these like kind of like, you know, all over the place descriptions, and I'm okay with that, but at the same time I still want to be able to have some uniformity. So I do have a template now that I created for myself that I can just copy and paste in there, and just like put in some in between the quotes what we're doing today, and then it's good to go. It's really nice.
5. First of many to 6. So what's the plan, boss? Pages document. Pages. Now in 6. So what's the plan? Selected body 6. So what's the plan, boss? Speech muted.
6. So, what's the plan, boss? So, what's the plan, boss? Lincoln looked up from the rest of the soup he'd saved, thankful that the kitchen had a microwave. I have no idea, honestly. Figured we should use the time we got left to figure all that out. Katrina nodded in agreement. The sleep was needed, and so was the laundry, and showers. But we definitely need to focus. 20 hours may seem like a lot, but we really don't have much time to figure things out with how little prepared we are. My thoughts exactly, so here is what I'm thinking, started Lincoln, as he wiped his mouth and set down his soup cup.
I forgot I gotta do
He'd
this.
thought over it while he showered, and the leftover soup pretty much solidified the idea in his mind. I think we should turn this place into a diner for middles with the itch to hang beachside in the slums, said Lincoln, raising it.
Sorry about this, guys.
Speech up bot. Beginning of text grave accent. Beginning of text body grave accent. Grave accent. Body 6. So beginning of text body 6. Now in chapter 6 Rusty stretches pages. Quote. Now in 6. So what's the plan, boss? Window. Body. Page 1 of 3. Edit. Finder. 5. First of many to come. Now in 5.
Sorry, forgot I gotta do this for these. I didn't even notice that, so it's
Find and replace window. Replace arc text field. Replace all dimmed button. Replace arc finsarc text field blank. Select all. Now in 5. Find and replace arc. Find and replace. Find and replace finsarc text field blank. You are currently on a text field. In Lincoln space Lincoln space. Replace arc text field. T-R-E-N-T. Trent space. Type replace all dimmed. Trent insertion and Lincoln content select Trent replace all replace and find dimmed button. Replace all dimmed button dimmed. Trent content Lincoln content selected search Lincoln. T-R-E-N-T. Trent space. Trent content selected search text field. Type replace all dimmed button. Trent content selected search text Trent. Lincoln space. Replace all dimmed but replace and find dimmed. Replace dimmed. Previous button. Find the previous match. You are next button. Replace dimmed. Replace all dimmed. Lincoln contents Trent content selected. So now in 5. First of many to come. Window. Footer. Group. Body. Footer. Group. Body. In edit. Selection. End of text. Achievement perk. New line. Make money. Boss move. New line. Boss move. New line. Star update. New line. His hand. That's a long story. New line. Left double quote. New line. That's a long story for another time link. For now, you got a deep.
okay.
Find and replace window. Find and replace options. Previous button. Lincoln. Trent. Content selected. Selection delete. Lincoln. Space. Lincoln. Content selection replace. R-E-N-T. Trent. Space. Replace and find. Button. Replace all. Button. Previous button.
Oh.
Find the Trent. Content Lincoln. Content Lincoln. L-I-N-K. Trent. Content Trent. E-N-T. Type replace all button. Previous button. Now in 5. Save. Actions of it close. Body. Page 1 of 3. Edit text. Insertion. Beginning of text body 6. So what's the plan, Bob? Selected body 6. So what's the plan, boss?
Sorry, guys. I just gotta remember to do this at the beginning.
Find and replace window. Rent. Content selected. Search link. Content selected. K. 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 Lynn, Cole looked up from the rest of find and replace options. Find, zoom, minimize. But link, content select, rent, content select, previous, button. Find and replace options. Link, rent, content, replace all, dimmed, button. Rent, content selected, search text, rent. T. Replace all, dimmed. Rent, link, content, menu, 5 items. Recent searches, dimmed. Rent, content selected, search text field. T, R, E, N, T. Replace all, dimmed. Rent, link, replace, previous, button. Replace, rent, replace all, dimmed. Rent, find, and link, now in, body. So, what's the plan, boss? Actions available, find and replace, rent, content selected, selection deleted. You are currently on a text link, selection deleted, Lincoln. Type the text to search for. Replace text field, Lincoln, Lincoln. Lincoln, space. Replace text field, T, Trent, space. Type replace all, button. Previous, button. Trent, contents, Trent. Rent, space. Lincoln, K. Rent, content, previous, button. Find and replace options, link, content, replace all, dimmed. Replace, rent. Link, content selected, search text, now in, 6. Body, page 1 of 3, edit text, content selected, body 6. Save.
Did I save that last one, y'all? God damn it. Sorry, I'm tired and I had to push everything back. I had to push this back. And now I am so tired.
Selection
I'm
unselected.
gonna get this done.
Selected body 6. So, what's the plan, boss?
I promised
Speech
myself
muted.
I was gonna do this every day, so I'll keep my promises to myself and my loved ones.
6. So what's the plan, boss? Trent looked up from the rest of the soup he'd saved, thankful that the kitchen had a microwave. I have no idea, honestly. Figured we should use the time we got left to figure all that out. Katrina nodded in agreement. The sleep was needed, and so was the laundry and showers. But we definitely need to focus. 20 hours may seem like a lot, but we really don't have much time to figure things out, with how little prepared we are. My thoughts exactly. So here is what I'm thinking, started Trent, as he wiped his mouth and set down his soup cup. He'd thought over it while he showered, and the leftover soup pretty much solidified the idea in his mind. I think we should turn this place into a diner for middles with the itch, to hang beachside in the slums, said Trent, raising his hands before Katrina's mouth, who'd fell open, could speak. We can't afford gas to attract people that way. We don't have nearly enough knowledge to stock the shelves with domestic favorites, and don't get me started on how easy it is to steal on a low-man situation like that. I bet the family was only as successful as they were because the entire family was probably hands-on and united. Katrina smiled. Calm down, dude. I was only going to say that's an awesome idea, and I totally agree with you about the family, but we still need tables and all kind of stuff. True, but I feel like this is giving me ideas that I never would have tried without my class coin. Yeah, like what? Anything that will help us fill this place in a uniform setup that won't make me cringe every time I walk in. Yeah, tent city slums, said Trent simply. What about it? You can't just bring up the largest collective of the homeless in our entire nation and suddenly feel like all the answers are going to bloom wildly like flowers in spring in my mind. Are you trying to be a poet or something? But I see your point. However, with what I know and have experienced while there, some sectors are heavily associated with the black market run throughout the entire city. So getting tables and chairs cheaper shouldn't be a problem. We might look like the interior of an abandoned office to start, but I'm sure our patrons won't mind armrests and wheels on their chairs. We can use that as a gimmick anyway. What are we serving at this diner? Breakfast and custom sandwiches. Not a crazy amount of ingredients. People can be trained on how to prepare and serve easily. And if we become a hotspot, we stay open late to serve the crowd from your other jobs activities. Now that is a plan. Maybe I can put the name out of this place to everyone I serve at night, once I actually make sure you can make a sandwich. Trent groaned, rubbing his temples as dozens of setting that stops these prompts. Some thoughts are just thoughts, not web searches. Yeah, I got you, said Katrina, going to the kitchen and grabbing him a glass, and how we are going to get money for the food up front. Trent nodded, trying to breathe through his headache. Katrina showed him through a breathing exercise they taught for free to the local read more and more. His normally sporadic way of thinking was coming with a backlash that he wasn't entirely prepared for. However, when Trent was focused on counting each number that came while he breathed in and out, less random thoughts prevailed. For the first time in Trent's seemingly long life, he was forced to put his unknowingly considerable mental acuity onto one single task, his mind moving through constructing a plan piece by piece. More and more additions added to each step as more thoughts came. It took them an unbothered hour to make their way down the incredible coastline to the tent city slums. Their minds were in completely different places, as Katrina had worried herself into wanting to run away, and Trent was gaining traction with his mental practices. Both their minds took in what could essentially be declared a section of the city in magnitude alone. Tent city slums, though the words spoken softly by both of them, the message was obvious. For a place that is supposed to be a culmination of all things garbage, the area was anything but. Tents could be seen forming only being black, and of the highest quality by mandate of the supposed homeless government of the tent city slums, the place looked like a high-quality carnival attraction instead of the gathering of homeless it was supposed to be. They really made their point by building this, said Trent, hoping for the occupants that the local government of Diamond City still didn't feel like tent city slums was a black mark, rather than the home that it now was. Yeah, let's just get in and out of here as fast as possible. Who knows when the next raid will be?
Oh, damn. Was that it?
Speech unmute header, but in at B.
Okay.
Actions
All
of
right, on to the next one. Who knows when the next raid will be, guys?
close.
Let's hope it's not
Finder.
while they're there.
Finder, how much? 6. So, what's the plan, boss? 7. Are you messing with me right now? Pages. Now in. 7. Are you messing with... Find and replace window. Type rent, content select, link, content, in, in, rent, content select, E-N-T. Replace all, button, previous, button, Trent, Lincoln, contents, Lincoln, F-N-K. Trent, content selected, Trent, E-N-T, rent, space, previous, button. Find the find and replace option, link, content select, rent, content select, replace all, dimmed, dimmed. Replace all, now in, 7. Are you messing with me right now? Save. Actions available. Format body, page 1 of 4. Edit text, content selected, body 7. Speech muted.
"7, are you messing with me right now? I can't tell. They're really trying to make this place welcoming," said Katrina, and Trent nodded in agreement. "Yeah, the gardens are nice, but my systems say they will all die soon without higher maintenance and nutrients. And the sandstone fountains are crazy too, but my system says they're going to rapidly degrade since they chose to use seawater without filtration. That's wild, brah. How broad is your class to be telling you shit like that?" "Honestly, I'm starting to feel like I'm talking with a fucking person and not a class," said Trent. The wording of the prompts was wild sometimes. He honestly felt like he was talking to various people, the partner of his conversation ever changing, even while the topic of his thoughts stayed the same. Katrina looked over at him, giving him a strange look, but Trent just ignored it. "I'll just keep some things close to the chest as always, and hopefully keep my sanity. So where should we start? I think we should try that super popular thrift market. Why there? Isn't it normally packed and super dangerous in there?" "Yeah, but the best deals are in there, and we have nothing to steal." "We got these," said Katrina, lifting the keys to the gas station Trent had placed his class coin within. "What the fuck, Trina? Why would you bring those?" She handed him the keys as he reached for them. "Not going to lie, rookie mistake. Put them in my pocket and left them there." Trent groaned, pocketing the item before he received another prompt. "Update, notification, asset points. Through your accomplishments, you will gain asset points. These points can be used for utility-based spells, abilities, techniques, and even equipment. Note, previous users of the Infrastructure Architect class coin have left one behind for you to use, in hopes that with a single point, you will understand exactly how precious a gift asset points can be. Remaining asset points, 2. Update notification. Would you like to use a single asset point to unlock the class coin spatial inventory? Yes or no?" Trent barely even honed in on the words spatial inventory before another prompt popped up. Spatial inventory, normally only offered to professions that have been upgraded to classes, The spatial inventory is at first a space the size of a standard cardboard box in its assembled state, of course. The more accomplishments you complete, the larger it will become, unlike the less rarefied versions of this skill. Less rarefied versions, then how rare is the version I'd get? I would normally save any resources I have, but passing this up seems like it would be stupid, and I do have 2 points. He accepted the prompt, and received another immediately. This prompt, making him feel a smile he normally never wore casually shift back onto his face for the dozenth time in what felt like no longer than a day. Would you like to store? East side fill-up keys. Yes or no? He accepted the prompt, and the weight from his pocket vanished. The timing was perfect as the line to enter the slums luckily wasn't long, and they were both patted down by a couple of locals before they were allowed to enter. Trent saw despair cross Katrina's face when the guard told Trent to turn out his pockets. He did so with a smile on his face, which grew larger when he noticed Katrina's frown. What are you here for? The guard waited patiently as they shared a look, both speaking up at the same time. Business. Yeah, what kind of business? Trying to find some furniture for a new restaurant we are starting, said Trent simply, he and Katrina watching as the man whispered into an earpiece. 3 tents got you covered. Woodlands in the northeast corner, Zeke's in the trenches, and Betty's in the southwest, just around the corner from here. I'd recommend Woodlands. The kid that works there got me a crazy deal for my daughter's wedding furniture, said the guard. Noted, said Katrina, as Trent picked up on the unspoken messages in the guard's words. I wonder if we spend there if the guard gets a kickback, or if the tents are just that community-driven, that all tents get equal opportunities to make sales. Thanks. We'll head to the northwest and see what they got for us, said Trent, as they were let through. Trent glancing back as the guard once again whispered into his earpiece. Think we'll be heading to Betty's first, thought Trent, turning down an alleyway instead of continuing north the very moment they were out of sight of the front gate. The incline toward the center was subtle, but with how tall the complex's pyramid structure was, they were able to remain almost completely consumed within the crowds. I thought we are, just not first. We need competitive pricing before we pop up at the best of the best shop. If we go there first, everyone else will match the big guy's price, but if we go elsewhere first, we can have them try and beat their wealthier competitor, said Trent, Katrina giving him yet another strange look as they pushed further into the crowds. You going to tell me how you pulled off that magic trick with the keys back there? You ever heard of the skill spatial pickpocketing? Katrina nodded as he glanced at her. Let's just say that you would either need it, or someone who has it to take those keys from me now. Likely in here of all places, but still probably rare. He smiled as her eyes went wide. Guess I'm just full of surprises today. I work for you, can I get one? Said Katrina playfully, but Trent thought about it momentarily. If I can figure that out, then for our first deal with a vendor, you take the lead, I get 90% of the profit, and 5% of all your future contracts. Katrina stumbled, coughing as she choked on nothing. It may not even be possible. What is she tripping about? You're serious, aren't you? Said Katrina, Trent watching her eyes narrow as he looked at her, drawn to do so by her tone. She's seriously wondering if I'll do it. Not like it will benefit me not to. As of right now, I can only see upsides. Look, I know that all of this might seem like a lot, but if you're right, we need to use everything at our fingertips to get ahead. It's value. Then we'll sell it and find more ways to protect ourselves. Katrina nodded at him, and her look both warmed his heart, and told him that the changes to him must not be as subtle as he felt them to be. She's never been the type to look at me like that, and I've known her for years. All Trent had to do was have the thought about giving his supervisor a spatial inventory, and a prompt popped up, making Trent stop and extend another hand to her. An offer that Katrina took eagerly. Well then, Trina, here you go, thought Trent, accepting the prompt. Should I have looked at the asset list before doing that? For all Trent knew, there was a give spatial inventories to all employees' asset. Asset point resource pool too low. Points required for shared pocket space. 100 points minimum. Read Trent mentally after receiving another pop-up. No fucking way. Damn, that's a lot of points. Not long after Katrina was done having an absolute panic attack, squealing in excitement after receiving an achievement for obtaining a spatial inventory before even obtaining a class, they arrived at Betty's. Breathe, bitch, breathe. You got this. Emanate superiority. You are a queen. Just breath, said Katrina, trying to motivate herself into a state of confidence. These girls are weird sometimes. You okay? Katrina stopped and looked back at him. She looked away, causing Trent to look in that direction, only to be pecked on the cheek by Katrina before he could realize what was happening. Thank you for trusting me, boss. I won't let you down.
Boom. But I want to make sure I didn't hear that incorrectly.
You okay? Katrina stopped. You okay? Breathe, bitch. Damn, that. Points required for shared pocket space. Asset point resource pool too low. Asset point. For all, Trent knew there was a give spatial inventories to all employees' asset. Asset point resource pool too low. Points required for shared pocket space. 100 points minimum. Read Trent mentally after receiving another pop-up. No fucking way. Damn, that's a lot of points. Not long after Katrina was done having an absolute panic attack, squealing in excitement after receiving an achievement for obtaining a spatial inventory before even obtaining a class, they arrived at Betty's. Breathe, bitch, breathe. You got this. Emanate superiority. You are a queen. Just breath, said Katrina, trying to motivate herself into a state of confidence. These girls are weird sometimes. You okay? Katrina stopped and looked back at him. She looked away, caught
Speech on me, body thing, new chapter, you okay, new line. G's girls are new line. Footer, bot, and edit, G's, space, Z. Actions, bot, a new line. Said Katrina, breathe, bitch, new line. Breathe, bitch, breathe. You got this. Emanates, page 4, body, breathe, bitch, breathe. You got this. Save, close. Finder, finder. How much does a city cost? 8. Betty's, pages document. Actions available. You are currently on the pages.
Got a spatial inventory. So, for a thief, guys.
Pages.
We can
now
only
in
imagine
8. Betty's window.
This can go.
Body 8. Betty's. Selected.
Oh, hold
on. Find and replace window. Type the text to search for. Rent. Content selected. Replace all. Dimmed. Button. Link. K. Rent. Replace all. Button. Previous. Button. Rent. Content. Link. Content selected. Lincoln. Rent. Content. Select. T. Replace all. Button. Previous. Button. Now in. Save. Act body. Page 1 of 3. Edit text. Content selected. Body 8. Speech muted.
Eight. Betty's. Welcome, said Betty as an odd pair of youths walked into her store. Both wore the basic black clothing most children that live on the streets of Diamond City are known for. Neither looked in her direction as she welcomed them into her shop, which Betty knew was a trait that nobles used to curry favor with merchants underneath their stations, but, well, street kids ain't that damn scrubbed clean. They look like they bathe regularly, thought Betty.
Speech unmuted.
Sorry, guys.
Finder. Streamlabs desk. Safari. Now in 18. Now in speech chat. Now in 18. Spee. Selected. You are currently on a text link. Skip to main content. Link. Accessibility. Spee. Search. Clear. Search search button. You are currently now in 18. CHILLV. Smart. Speak 6 days ago. Completions K. Speak. Speech. Completion select T. You are currently wspeechchat.com. Text entry area blank. Button. Text entry area blank. T. Test. Button. Send. Text entry area test. Insertion edit. Send. Text entry area test.
I don't know why
Insertion
this is not working, guys.
Reload page. 0. Stepper. Text entry area blank.
Oh,
you are
there was something that Dominic said I had to do, and I guess it's probably popped back up and needs me to confirm and join blind proofing on this chat. Like I said, I need to figure out some settings on Speak Chat anyway. So what I'm gonna do is tomorrow after work, I'm gonna ask my son to tinker with that stuff for me, and then we'll get this
reload
page
back up. 0. Stepper. Speech chat window. Speech.
Right. Sorry, guys. But But yeah, you'll be able to comment to me starting again tomorrow after I fix that.
Pages.
Sorry.
Pages.
Just wanted to get that up and running, but I guess we won't.
Speech muted.
And go. Oh. Cancel.
Speech unmute. Cancel button. Safari. Pages. Safari. Finder. Find 7, 8. Betty's. Pages. Now in page 3. Bought a new line. Come on, my guy. Spill. New body. Page 1 of 3. Edit text. Content selected. Body 8. Speech muted.
8. Betty's. Welcome, said Betty as an odd pair of youths walked into her store. Both wore the basic black clothing most children that live on the streets of Diamond City are known for. Neither looked in her direction as she welcomed them into her shop, which Betty knew was a trait that nobles used to curry favor with merchants underneath their stations, but... Well, street kids ain't that damn scrubbed clean. They look like they bathe regularly, thought Betty, her mouth falling open as the young man spun a set of keys around his fingers, only for the metal ring to disappear and reappear in his opposing hand, and then back again in a flash. Betty immediately turned to her also now gaping assistant and rushed the girl to go make tea for their new guests. Welcome, said Betty once more as she approached the pair. The beautiful young woman stepped between her and the young man, greeting the woman pleasantly with a smile and a slight nod in her direction. Hello, how may I help you? Asked the young woman, shocking Betty. What manners, but I'm here to help her. What exactly is going on here? I am Betty, the owner of this working tent. I am here to aid you two in any way that I can, said Betty. The young woman nodded, looking around before her eyes once more fell on Betty, the store owner clocking every item that the young woman's eyes paused to inspect further throughout her visual sweep of the store. Tables and chairs, maybe. Was this who the guard inquired over, maybe? I wonder why they didn't go to Woodlands first. They pay the highest tithes to the slums. They would have gotten the recommendation right. Young Master Rent has decided to use locally made furniture for his newest establishment and has heard incredible things about your store. In fact, he would like to provide you with a service that may be more in your favor than his own, said the young woman that Betty was now assuming was the assistant to this silent young master, not knowing how incredibly difficult it for Trent in that moment to keep from bursting into laughter. What exactly is this service of yours? Asked Betty, glancing between the young woman and the young master. We noticed that you have furniture that is rotting and unused in the back of your tent that is piling up. We would like to rid this trash for you for a price, if that would work for you. Betty frowned. Am I being sold right now? We would normally pay you by taking the furniture off your hands and paying you a percentage of what the new establishment made for a week. But much of the Tent City slum vendors deal with far too many criminals and con men to be able to offer the same services as more quality vendors, said the young woman. Betty's frown deepened. Are you trying to insinuate that my store isn't of the utmost quality? Betty felt her skin heat and her blood begin to boil. The pride of the Tent City slums was easily caught by its many inhabitants, a well-known culture that Trent would now take advantage of. Trent's mind was racing 100 miles an hour, but he continued to practice the breathing exercise Katrina taught him. Just stay cool. She's got this. I would never insinuate such a thing, my beloved Betty. I just had my people visit both Zeke's and Woodlands, and neither are offering such deals. My young master just believed it to be a trend only known to wealthier merchants in the inner city, said Katrina, as she pulled free the list she'd made and pocketed for her own use. Even basic class functions like the notepad was locked until one received a class coin to unlock a system's full functions. Once the sight of the now pristine piece of paper was beheld on Katrina's hand by Betty, Trent knew two things. The first being, Katrina had the woman in the palm of her hands, while the second was that Katrina's inventory had done something to her folded piece of paper. Why are there no folds? Trent pushed the thoughts aside and focused on the dialogue between his friend and Betty. We get 1% of all credits made for the first 2 weeks, including the grand opening next Friday, asked Betty for the fourth time, and Trent began to drift toward the door as if impatient and tired of their back and forward. Well, it seems my young master is growing tired of your indecisiveness. Shall we try another time if we return? Asked Katrina. Trent didn't look back, feeling if he did the woman would pass on the deal. He didn't know how, he just did. also knowing the moment Betty extended her hand toward Katrina without looking back to confirm it was happening somehow. "You're welcome, Betty. We will work out delivery soon, ciao, mua," said Katrina, blowing the woman a kiss as she accepted a payment for a future service. Trent couldn't believe how much money he'd received in an instant. The words, "Boss move," popped up in the corner of his vision, and his money doubled before his very eyes. 200 fucking credits, just like that. How Katrina managed to get the woman to both buy into the credit and pay a down payment was beautiful, and where Trent would normally feel bad for what he'd just done, instead he felt rewarded. He noticed he gained an asset point and smiled. This wasn't a scam. Well, it was a show for sure. We fully plan on following through, thought Trent. Katrina may have described the furniture behind Betty as rotting, but in all reality, it was anything but. As Trent had shared his plan for Katrina, they'd inspected what they could potentially receive, and Katrina had convinced him that, with a little bit of work, that the furniture would work even better than their worst-case scenario, office furniture. Holy fuck, holy fuck, holy fuck. Is this what legal money feels like? That's better than drugs for sure. I can see why merchants are the way they are, said Katrina. Trent patted her on the back. Calm down, we still got to get out of here, and I want to hit a market before we go back, said Trent, stopping at a food vendor and buying kebabs for him and Katrina. Dear Lord, even a pop-up for employee lunches. No, 3 prompts. Come on! Trent was annoyed with the majority of the prompts, until he read the information. The breathing technique seemed to be a true help, and what Trent was learning was actually incredible. Things like this will keep up morale. Remember to do this as much as your budget calls for, read Trent. Maybe this should be a part of our foundation. Food is much of the reason why I said we should make a diner. It's rewarding, helpful, exciting, and even can become iconic if completed well, thought Trent for the 2nd or 3rd time that day. Thankful that the same pop-ups didn't reoccur each time he had the same thoughts. Yo, what you got planned for this market? I can feel it in my bones. You're cooking and I love it. Trent laughed, peeling her hands off his arm as she shook him excitedly. Calm down, woman. You're making it hard to walk, said Trent, nudging her playfully. Come on, my guy, Spill. Okay. Have you ever heard of food challenges?
Ziggy, what time is it?
It's 11:35 p.m.
Oh, guys, I don't know if I can do any more after this. Oh, I really want to keep going, though.
Speech unmuted. Finder. How much does a city cost? 9. Groceries and butcheries. Pages document.
Let's see how long we've been streaming, guys. I might
Pages.
have to do another short episode today.
Safari. Streamlabs desk. Stream. Live 0 hours, 43 minutes, and 27 seconds.
Yeah, just
You are
about my cutoff time, guys. I was shooting for 45 to an hour, and we're just about there. So let me talk about a few things. So, yes. I'm going to try to get us more traction starting at the beginning of next week. Hopefully we're going to have a lot of more user interaction because I'm going to start promoting the channel. Also, I'm going to start trying to do maybe 30-minute videos of me actually demonstrating how I do certain things and how I plan out certain things, and just helpful videos for people to be able to see why I'm doing what I'm doing and kind of get an understanding for the reasons behind certain things. So realistically, I'm even going to even do like the making of the covers for each of these series and a lot of different other things. So yeah, I really hope you guys are enjoying this content, especially after I advertise the channel and you guys start to see way more. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun, especially starting next week. I'm also gonna start posting these videos at the beginning of the chapters on RoyalRoad, as well as sharing them to my social medias so people can check them out and enjoy as well. Other than that, really, sorry, I know normally I'm a little bit more fluid than this, but I do want to make this an everyday thing, and I don't want to make exceptions. You know, I might have had a long day, almost died this morning, but gotta do what I gotta do. No, you did not. Just talk through my stream. Yeah. Tomorrow is Lineage of Lincoln Lex. Super excited for that, guys. Just because of all the characters, to be honest, he probably is my favorite. Why? Because he's blonde, like me. But it doesn't matter. It's just, I got a lot of love for that character. And I'm really starting to enjoy where this story is going as well. Because I remember having a lot of fun with it and starting to get to the meat of the story where, like, his necromancer best friend starts to kill people and take their class coins and gain abilities and stuff like that. So this series does actually get to be quite a bit of fun. But I'm going to cut it short, unfortunately, guys. I wish that I could do more, but I would like to shower before I go to sleep. And then I gotta be up at like 5:30, so I'm about to get like 5 hours of sleep and be right back at it. So yeah, long day, but it was well worth it. And I will see you all tomorrow, my fellow cultivators. May the mana be with you. And until
Group, live 0 hour, end stream.
it's
but
all love.